When we were designing the iHub app, we recognized immediately that we had a number of business challenges that we wanted to solve for organizations. This is about 4 years ago, and just like there's an app for that, as we went into the marketplace, we also realized that there was an app company for that. And I mean, there is an app company for everything. City apps, church apps, restaurant apps, and the list goes on. And one of the main challenges that we really saw as a team in the way that the app companies were approaching the clients is that they would take a guess at the actual needs of that company and that vertical and say, hey, we've already figured out what you're going to need to run an app for your business, and it would come with, you know, feature sets and things like that. But of course, they were never exactly what every business or organization needs. And the reason for that is pretty simple. And that is every organization has its own personal fingerprint. There is no organization that needs everything all the time. And so what would inevitably happen is the client would come back and say, well, it's really not exactly what we need. It's mostly what we need. And of course, the app developers are high-fiving themselves at that point, and they say, no problem, we would absolutely love to customize this app for you. And of course, all day long, they're making money at doing that. But the real problem comes in the way they would approach the design of this app, and that would be that they would go in with the customer to say, okay, we're gonna help you, and you're going to show us what you need to customize to engage your clients or your base or whoever that audience is. And of course, now the problem is that you have a group of people who are not technologists, who don't know anything about user experience, who are now the primary group of people who are informing what ultimately is customized software. And as we have seen, especially over the last 4 years, the results have been abysmal with that entire approach. For the last 4 years, ComScore has put out the report that the average amount of apps downloaded by the consumer every month is 0. That's right, 0. And on top of that, even those who have spent a lot of money in customizing and creating a native app, they all ran into this brick wall, which is this App Store and Play Store, where you first have to convince people to actually download the app before they even engage with it. And so what the first question we had in our minds to answer was, how do we actually resolve that business problem? How do we make it so that any one of our clients, without ever having to talk to a developer, could create a hyper-personalized, experienced app for themselves? So that was the first thing. The second part was also, well, how do we then make it a personal experience for the customers of our client, who are ultimately why you're creating an app for? And so we wanted to solve that problem. And I'd like to say that we were geniuses, because we did solve the problem, and that we went through and we thought about all of this. But the fact is, we ripped off an idea that's been around for a very long time, and that's the radio. Radios have channels, and the way it works is you tune in to the channel of your choice. And of course, we also know that television does the same thing. And so with that concept in mind, we came up with a really, really simple and elegant solution that works. And that is that the organization can create channels about anything. Absolutely anything. And they can be public and private channels. A private channel will not even appear on the app unless they have added the member into that. And public channels are just that. Anybody can go through them, anybody can look into them, and they can actually join them. And so what happens for the users of your iHub app is they go into the channels that you have created, and as they select those channels, the actual interface, the front homepage, the feeds, all of that becomes hyper-personalized based to their interests. And that is how we were able to resolve the scenario of how do we create hyper-personalization for both our clients and their customers.